For the clarity of this story, I must mention I have a hearing disability. I am hard of hearing, and there are things in life I may never fully understand. But I still look back on this experience, wondering what could have happened, and what I should have done differently. It all began about a year ago, just after the holidays. The world was quiet, the snow deep and undisturbed, and I was settling back into my small suburban neighborhood on the edge of a forest in southern Quebec. Here, everyone knows each other. The air is warmer for it, even in winter. I love taking my dog, Monty, for walks in the woods. He's a Rottweiler Husky mix, strong and loyal, and the forest trails are our escape. That afternoon, after a late lunch, I bundled up and set out with Monty. The snow was fresh, a blank canvas, and the world felt silent except for the crunch of our boots and paws. We walked for half an hour, then reached a fork in the trail. One path was untouched, no footprints, no sign of life. Feeling adventurous, I took it. The trail led to a clearing, and I paused to watch the birds with my new binoculars. That's when I saw it, a blue tarp, a makeshift shelter hidden among the trees. I felt a prickle of unease, but the sun was setting, and I turned back. Monty was acting strange, sniffing the ground, tense. Then I saw them. Footprints in the snow, much larger than mine. I compared them to my own boots, different. There were no other forks in the trail. Whoever made them had to have passed me, unseen. Dusk fell quickly. As we neared home, Monty stopped, barking furiously. I turned, and saw him. A man tall, at least 6'4", dressed in charcoal snow pants and a white camo jacket, stood just a meter away. He didn't move, just stared, hands in his pockets. I didn't recognize him. He seemed to mutter something, but I couldn't read his lips in the dim light. I tried to explain I was hard of hearing, that it was late. He didn't respond. I hurried home, heart pounding. That night I tried to forget. But at 3 a.m. Monty woke me, licking my hand. My neighbor had texted. "Is everything all right?" Monty's been barking like crazy. I found Monty at the patio door, barking at the darkness. The motion light flicked on, and there he was. The man from the forest, standing in my backyard. I didn't hesitate. I texted 911, grabbed Monty, and locked myself in my room with a machete. I waited, heart racing, as Monty barked at the bedroom door. A shadow moved under the crack. I braced myself for the handle to turn, for the door to break. But it never did. The police arrived. The patio glass was shattered, the backyard gate open, leading back to the forest. I told them about the shelter. I left to stay with a friend, and after that, I never walked those trails again.
My name is Amber. I'm 16, living in Illinois with my younger sister, Kate. Our dad works for a deforestation group, half an hour from home. It was a normal December morning. Kate and I were getting ready to see a horror movie, Terrifier 3, Christmas-themed, rated 18+, but we looked old enough to get in. Halfway through the film, my phone buzzed, loud enough for the whole theater to glare at me. It was a text from Dad. "Hey, would you mind bringing me some lunch? The CAF in the woods is closed today." It seemed normal. We packed food, drove to the woods, and called him. No answer. I texted and he replied. "Walk down the hill, wait for me at the lake." The sun was setting, the sky orange over the frozen water. At the lake, a man in black sat on the dock, back to us. We thought it was Dad. I called his name, no response. I pulled back his hood. It wasn't Dad. The man turned, waving my father's phone, grinning. He lunged, grabbing Kate's arm. I yanked her free, and we ran, chased by heavy footsteps. We barely made it to the car, locked the doors as the man crouched by my window, then vanished as I sped away. At home, Dad was furious. His phone had been stolen at work. The police tracked it to the lake, but the man was gone. That night, at 1 a.m., I got a message. I like that your house is lit only by your bedroom TV. I froze. I heard rustling outside my second-floor window. Peeking through the blinds, I saw the man, smiling, gun pointed at me. Glass shattered. My parents rushed in. More glass broke downstairs. We locked ourselves in the bedroom, called 911. The police found a tracking tag on my car tire. The man was never caught. Since then, I never go to secluded places, especially when I'm responsible for someone else.
His world was chaos. I was working from home, supposed to meet family upstate. A snowstorm raged as I drove my old Hyundai through 2 feet of snow. I arrived late, shared drinks and gifts, then left after midnight, tired and a little buzzed. The roads were empty, the world silent. I sped up, lost control, and crashed into a tree. My car was buried, ruined. I called roadside assistance, then my dad. As I waited, I heard footsteps in the snow, then a wet, slurping sound from the tree line. I called out, no answer. I got back in the car, locked the doors. Something hit the passenger window. I stepped out, found bootprints circling my car, leading into the woods, drops of blood in the snow. I followed the trail, gun in hand. In the flashlight beam, I found a dead deer, stomach ripped open, head missing. I hurried back to my car, and found the deer's severed head on my driver's seat, staring at me. I ran down the road, flagged down my dad. We returned, the head was gone, but the blood remained. The police were never called. I still don't know who was out there, or what they wanted. Maybe it was just to scare me. Or maybe it was something worse.
My name is Meredith. I'm 24 and I work the night shift at a tiny gas station off County Road 11. It's the kind of place most people don't even notice unless they're out of gas or completely lost. I took the job because it was quiet and predictable. I like that, or at least I used to. It started on a Thursday night around 1 a.m. The air outside was wet and still, and the hum of the overhead lights had been getting under my skin all shift. I was just about to microwave a cinnamon roll I didn't even really want when the door chimed. A man walked in, mid-40s, maybe older. He had a green coat, messy hair, and dry lips like he hadn't smiled in years. He didn't head for the coffee or chips like most people. He just stood near the counter staring at me with a strange kind of familiarity. "Hi," I said, forcing a polite smile. Then the man said, "You always work this late?" I blinked and said, yeah, mostly." He smiled. Then he said, "I figured. I've passed through a few times. Notice it's always you." That unsettled me more than I let show. "Oh, yeah, right. Small town," I said. He didn't leave. "Meredith, right?" I froze. I wasn't wearing a name tag. I was about to ask him how he knew, but he followed it with saying that I have nice handwriting, and he motioned to the whiteboard where I had written "Cinnamon coffee is back." Most people dot their I's like circles. You use little slashes. It's very specific, thoughtful. I didn't respond. He didn't buy anything. Just stood there for another minute watching me like he was studying my reactions. Then he finally nodded. "I'm Paul," he said. Just curious, that's all. And then he walked out into the fog. After that, he started showing up randomly. Not every night. Not enough to scream stalker out loud, but often enough that I stopped assuming it was a coincidence. Sometimes he'd come inside. Sometimes he'd just sit in his car near the edge of the lot with his headlights off. One night, I tried to ignore him. He came in, bought a bottle of water, and lingered like always. "You're quieter tonight," he said. "Long shift," I muttered. He slowly looked around the store like he was taking inventory of everything. "It must get lonely. Just you out here in the dark, no one else for miles," he said. "I'm fine," I replied. He leaned on the counter. "You ever get scared being a woman alone at night?" His voice wasn't threatening. That's what made it worse. It was curious, like neutral, like he was asking about the weather. I stepped back and I asked, "Do you need anything else?" He tilted his head. "You always keep the door to the back room locked." "Smart. I notice you check it around 2 a.m. Almost every night." My stomach turned. I didn't answer. "I'll let you get back to it," he said with a soft, almost apologetic smile. "Didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." Then he walked out again. After that night, I started walking to my car with my keys between my fingers. I kept a tire iron under the counter. I changed the curtains in my apartment, started showering with the bathroom door locked, even when no one else was home. There were nights he didn't come. Sometimes I'd go a whole week without seeing him, but it didn't help. It actually made it worse because I never knew when he'd reappear. Like the time I came back from my 10-minute break to find a Polaroid on the counter. It was me refilling the windshield washer bin behind the station. It was taken from that night close up. Way too close. There was no note along with it, but the slash dot on the word "I" and the word "windshield" on the bin label had been circled in red ink. The next time he came in, I told him to leave. I told him if he stayed I'd call the police. Paul just nodded. "I get it. I've been too forward." "You've been following me," I said with my voice cracking, and I hated that it did. "I just think you're the kind of person who's used to being misunderstood." "I thought maybe you'd appreciate someone who pays attention," he said. "That's not paying attention. That's obsession," I replied. He didn't flinch. "Would it be easier if I wore a smile and brought a soda every night? Would I be more normal if I just talked about sports and pretended I didn't notice the way your shoes are always a half size too big or how your left eyelid twitches when you're tired?" By this point, I was already dialing 911. He didn't stop me. The police came quickly and he didn't resist. He just stood there, arms at his sides, waiting. They searched his car and found a notepad filled with dates and times. It was my schedule, notes about my walk, my clothes, my groceries. One page just had my name written over and over again in tighter and tighter loops until it turned into scribbles. He kept telling the cops the same thing. "I just noticed things. I'm just a curious guy.